kundendu
Om ya kundendu
Tusharahara dhavala
Tusharahara dhavala
Ya Shubhra Vastranvita Ya Veena Varadanda Manditakara Ya Shveta Padmasana Ya Brahmachyuta Shankara Prabhutibhihi Devai Sada Pujita Samam Patu Saraswati Bhagavati Nissesha Jadyapaha Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma vidvishavahai Om Shanti Shantihi. Om. Today, a lot of people are celebrating or have celebrated Sri Ramanavami. You know that, right? Yesterday we celebrated Sri Ramanavami. Anybody know what Sri Ramanavami is all about? Yeah?
It's Sri Rama's birthday and marriage day.
Ah, wonderful. Thank you for saying the second one. Sri Rama's birthday is trivial. Sri Rama's marriage day is something important for us today. So we'll talk about that. Anything else? Basically that, right? Sri Rama's birthday. So Sri Rama was born on Chaitra Masa. Masa means it's a lunar month, right? We have all solar months. We have this Gregorian calendar, January, February, like that we have months. But India, Sanatan Dharma, has a solar calendar. So that has 12 months. Each month is based on particular Rashi. So there are cultures that follow solar calendar. For example, Tamil Nadu, they follow solar calendar. So every time sun starts rising in a new constellation, new month begins. But whereas some people follow a lunar calendar. So the Chaitra Masa is one of the lunar months. So lunar calendar and solar calendar, they don't sync perfectly day by day. In solar calendar, we have 365 days, but in lunar calendar, 1 year completes in a shorter time. So every few years, you have to add an extra month or subtract a month just to keep a pace with the solar calendar. But anyway, so the lunar calendar begins with Chaitra Masa. That means this is when moon is rising in the constellation of Chitra. So Chitra Nakshatra, therefore it is Chaitra. And the 9th lunar day is Navami. Okay, that's when Rama was said to be born. He was born on a Chaitra Masa. The moon phases increase and decrease, right? So waning is going down, and dark, you go to a new moon. Waxing increases to a full moon. So in the first phase, that is waxing moon, it is called Shukla Paksham. In that 9th day. So rising moon, waxing moon, Chaitra Masa, 9th day is said to be Rama's birthday. So it is Navami, means 9. Okay, anybody know another meaning for Navami? Have you ever heard this word Nava? New. Navami means new. Something that is ever new. something that is ever fresh. Can you tell me something that is ever new, ever fresh? It never loses its freshness or newness. Can anybody tell me what it is? Have you experienced anything like that? No matter how long you experience it, how matter you want, it never becomes old. Everything else becomes old. You stay in a house becomes old. First day it's all new, fresh smell. Second day, old. 1 month, it's all old. Same old parents, same old friends. Everything becomes old. Everything becomes old. But there is only one thing. Bliss. Joy and bliss. No matter how much joy you have, you will never feel it is same old stuff. Joy is always joy. But it's not the kind of happiness that we get by getting a new toy or getting a new object or anything like that. So this is that ever fresh, ever new joy and bliss that all yogis, all saints, all great people always revel in, always enjoy, immerse themselves in. And that new joy is born as Rama. The meaning of Rama itself is joy. Rama itself, we talked about Rama, right? The meaning of Rama itself is joy. But she said a very important thing. It's not just Rama's birthday. It's not cake cutting ceremony for Rama. But it is also his marriage day. His marriage day is different. But his marriage is celebrated. We don't call it marriage. We call it Kalyanam. But what does Kalyanam mean?
Wedding.
Yeah.
Or new beginnings.
But actual Kalyanam word means something very auspicious. It's not really wedding. So we don't have something called wedding. We have something called vivaha. In the Sanskrit word is vivaha. So wedding is some kind of a agreement between man and woman that they read some vows and they say, okay, will not hurt you, I will not damage you, I will follow you, and blah blah blah. So they read themselves each other some vows. That is wedding. And somebody endorses, I declare you or pronounce you man and woman. But we don't have anything like that. There is something that comes close to it called Gandharva Vivaha, but that is something different. But we call it Vivaham. Vaham means carrier. Vahanam is a carrier, carriage. So Vivaha is a great kind of carriage, but that is something different. But Kalyanam means auspiciousness. What is so auspicious? Rama and Sita, they were married probably long time ago, 12,000, 16,000, whatever years ago. Why do we have to celebrate their wedding again and again, marry the same people again and again? Why? Isn't that boring? Don't they get bored? But we all know that it is not like you are planning their wedding and creating a wedding there, and tomorrow again wedding, and after tomorrow again wedding. If you go to Tirupati, Tirumala, is Nitya Kalyanam. Nitya Kalyanam means every day there is wedding. Oh my goodness, won't they get bored every day wedding? So, but it is not just everyday wedding. It is the most auspicious thing that is worth celebrating every day. But what is worth celebrating in this world? Like, look at all the festivals you have. Think of any festivals. What is that we celebrate most of the time? What is the theme in these festivals? Can anybody tell me? What is the common theme in some of these? Let's say Diwali or Dasara, yeah?
Something to be grateful for, or something
Yeah.
whom we pray to, like
That's-
for honoring a god.
That's perfect. So every day we can do puja and we'll be happy, grateful there. But I'm talking about festivity.
Good over evil.
There you go. That is a common theme across the world. Good winning over evil. So in this world there are two things worth celebrating, really celebrating. And tell me if I am wrong. The first and foremost thing that is worth celebrating is when we get what we really own. And in that context, something is lost or we don't have what we own. That means somebody has taken it away, somebody has interfered in the way. That means there is an enemy. So defeating or attaining victory over enemy. These are the only two things worth celebrating. Gaining what we truly own or gaining victory over our enemies. And that's what Auntie said, that good winning over the evil. That is one thing that we celebrate in Dasara and all the festivals, even Diwali, everywhere. But this Kalyana is the only thing that celebrates what we really own, or when we attain what we really own. So what is that we really own? Can you tell me in this world that there is something that we really, really own?
Our happiness.
Yeah, our bliss, exactly. That's what that we really own, and there is a robber all the time, stealing it. And getting victorious over the robber, Ravana, okay? Getting victorious over Ravana is celebrated when?
Diwali.
No?
Oh, Dasara.
That's when Rama returns.
Yeah.
Dasara.
Dasara.
So Dasara, there is a Navaratri, right? We celebrate 9 nights. They don't call it 9 days. Why do they call it 9 nights? Interesting. Anyway, we'll talk about nights later. But there is one Navaratri that comes exactly 6 months after from now. So that is, that actually
Saran Navaratri.
Huh? It's called Saran Navaratri. Okay, that has some celestial significance. I'll tell about it later. But this is Vasanta Navaratri, is when Rama is united with Sita. So this is when we celebrate Kalyanam, and that's when we celebrate victory. This is when we celebrate Kalyanam, that's when we celebrate victory. So the happiness and the bliss is somehow lost. Why is it lost and how is it lost is Ramayana story. We'll come and talk about it. But let's understand why celebration of this unity or unification is celebrated. So I'll tell you a small story. We know about Rama's birth, right? We all remember that. We never heard of Sita's birth here. Maybe you know the story, maybe you know it a little bit, but I'll tell the story of Sita. She was born in a very illustrious clan called Videhas. Very interesting story. There was a great emperor named Nimi. Okay, Nimi always wanted to take care of his subjects, like everybody in his kingdom. He is also from Ikshwaku. Yeah, he's also from Ikshwaku clan. But at some point of time, there was a dispute between Nimi and his guru Vasishta. So they cursed each other, and Nimi lost his body. He became bodiless. He became nobody. He was somebody before, and he became nobody because he lost his body. But then, before he gave up the body, he prayed the gods that he remains as the protector of everybody's eyes. So therefore, the eyelids came to be known as nimishas. And people who blink, human beings, who came to be known as nimeshas. And those that do not blink were animeshas. Devatas, all gods are called animeshas, and humans are called nimeshas. So Nimi is living in our eyelids, protecting our vision all the time, protecting our eyesight all the time. What does it mean simply? It means that Nimi is a protective mechanism within us which guards our vision. Not just eyes, which guards our vision so that we don't lose our sight. We don't go somewhere else. But then he became nobody immediately after that. And in his kingdom and his clan, everybody that is born in his clan or came to be known as Videhas. Their entire kingdom became Videha kingdom. And that's why Sita is called Vaidehi, because she is born in that bodiless, nobody's clan. Nobody's clan. Okay? And then and not only that, how did, you can ask the question, okay, this person has no body. How did a clan emerge out of him? How come his child was born? How come his child was born? When there is no body, how can you have children born? Somehow his power is vested and they continued generation and generation. And that's why they are also called Janakas. They can actually generate something without even a body. That's why everybody in their clan came to be known as Janakas. Janaka means generator. So don't think that there is only one Janaka. There are several Janakas. There are several Videhas. But one of those Janakas, named Siradhvaja, he was performing a yajna. So before performing a yajna, they take a plow and they actually plow the land. And a plow is called halam. What is it called?
Hello.
Halam in Sanskrit. So when you take a plow and when you really plow the land, then the land is said to be halyam. Remember that word, halyam. Something is not plowed properly, it is called ahalyam. Yeah. Something not. So what is plowing mean? Cultivation. We talked about our inner nature is our earth. We're not talking about a mound of dirt. We're talking about the inner nature, true inner nature that has to be released, taken up from the submerged worldliness, put up there, and we have to cultivate it. Right? We're talking about cultivation. And that's when he began cultivation. And when he started doing the plowing, so have you seen a plow? Yeah, the plow has one straight like
Anchor.
needle kind of,
Yeah, anchor kind of.
yeah, anchor kind of a thing, and then it kind of
It is to,
makes a
It
furrow.
tills the land.
it is to create vertical columns in land or to
Basically
organize it.
tilling the land,
Yeah.
but you create furrows, long straight furrows, and then you go in all directions.
So you
And
can
To
sort
organize it into a grid of seeds.
maybe that's a good idea, but basically that's symbolic of cultivating the land. But it creates a furrow. So when he is plowing like this, a girl was lifted up. It's not a box, it's not nothing like that. A baby girl was just literally lifted up with this furrowing. And because she came up from that furrow, she came to be known as Sita. That's how she's born. She's not born from a womb like everybody does. So she's called Ayonija because of that reason. Why she's called Ayonija. Ayonija means it's not like birth from a womb. Okay? And after she was, just before she was raised up, became Sita, another story took place. There was a great king named Daksha. You might have heard the name. Have you heard the name Daksha? So the Daksha was a Prajapati. Prajapati means he had so many children and he controls, he tells everybody what to be done, what not to be done and all that. So he somehow developed animosity with Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva was his own son-in-law, but he became so angry at him and really became adverse to Lord Shiva. And because he wanted to show, and he has power, he wanted to show the world that you can exclude Lord Shiva from everything that you do, every yajna, every worship that you do. So he designed a stupid yajna, and that was called Daksha Yajna. Nirishwara Yaga. So in which he decided that there is no room for Ishvara. We'll talk about this yajna later. But when that happened, Lord Shiva became very angry and he said, because you have accepted this type of yajna, where no offerings will be made to Ishvara, I'm going to chop off everybody with my big bow. And he lifted his bow named Pinakam. Pinakam is the name of the bow. And then all the gods trembled with fear and they supplicated to his feet and prayed and pleased him. He said, okay, I won't do it. And then he gave away this bow to one of the ancestors of this Janaka that we are talking about, Sita's ancestors. The king's name was Devarata. And he gave it, okay, you keep it with you. You are the custodian for this from now on. And that great bow was brought and kept in their puja place for a long time. That was called Shivadhanas. So that Pinakam became Shivadhanas here. And that happened sometime later. Then Sita was lifted up by Janaka. So Janaka said, whoever can lift the bow, that is the price that you have to pay if you want to marry Sita. Because he saw some connection somewhere, some deep connection. That Sita was born out of no womb, she's Ayonija. And she was lifted up when he was trying to plow the land with halam, Langalad Uthita Maya, that's what he said. And therefore she will become the prize for showing the valor of lifting the bow. She was called Virya Shulka. Virya Shulka actually doesn't mean that she will be given as a gift or a prize, but to marry her or to take her hand in matrimony, one has to show the valor of lifting the bow. It's like dowry, like a bride price, like a bride dowry is to lift that bow. And Rama did that. And not only that, you will see Rama's story. Rama has taken birth in Ayodhya. All the time he is trying to find his Sita. In the beginning, first half in Balakanda, all that, he goes with Vishwamitra and somehow finds his way to Sita's homeland. And there he lifts the bow and breaks it into the middle. He was not trying to break it, but it broke. Breaks it into the middle and marries Sita. And then again he lost Sita, and then he tries to find where she was and bring her back after defeating Ravana. So this is the whole story. But everywhere it is Rama and Sita uniting. What is the funda here? Why do we celebrate Rama and Sita? This applies to every other Kalyanam that you see. It could be Uma Maheshwara Kalyanam, it could be Srinivasa Kalyanam, it could be any Kalyanam. Everywhere this theme is the same. So, what is Sita? So basically, Sita represents our true fundamental nature. She is not born out of any womb. Why? Because she is the womb of all wombs. She is the one that gives birth to every creation. That's why she is daughter of Janaka and also called Janaki. So she is the one that holds the generation potential. So she is the generator of generators. But she has taken this form as Janaki. And this entire universe is her divine play. But ultimately, who is she? She is the power of that supreme being. Like, when you look at sun, how do you know sun raised?
When his rays touch
You
us.
see sunshine. Can you see the sun? You can only see sunshine. Right. So, but if the sunshine is there, it means sun is there. The only way to know that sun is there is by looking at the sunshine. So in the same way, the only way to find who Rama is by looking at how Sita has been moving around. How can you know that fire has warmth? By feeling it. So warmth is the power of fire. So similarly, light is the power of sun, right? So you can only feel the power, but you cannot really see the owner of it. So Rama appears to be there, but you will never understand Rama. Not only us, Lord Brahma cannot understand Rama. Lord Shiva cannot understand Rama. Nobody can understand Rama. But all you can see is Rama's power walking as Sita everywhere. That's why Ramayana was said to be Sitayaha Charitam Mahat. It is the great moment of Sita.
Rama means woman, so it's the story of woman.
Yeah, the story of a woman, you can think of it that way. Exactly, it is the story of Sita. And that is our true inner nature. Where is our true inner nature hidden? Of course, the worldly things. And it is also buried by all the desires that we have. So, when we think of our true nature, like let somebody ask me, who are you? What will I say? What will you say? Who are you? We talked about this before. Some people say, my name, right? Somebody asks me, who are you? I'm Appaji Panchangam. It is like saying, I'm Tommy Hilfiger because I'm wearing Tommy Hilfiger shirt. Right? I'm telling the name to this body as Appaji Panchangam. So if I am Appaji Panchangam, it's same as saying I am Tommy Hilfiger because I'm wearing Tommy Hilfiger shirt. And in the evening, I throw away the shirt and I take another shirt. Say American Outfitters or something. So I'm American Outfitters. I died as Tommy Hilfiger and born as American Outfitters or something like that. So that is one identity is what we call. In this country, there is so much of identity crisis. I am this, I am that, I am man, I am woman, I am all kinds of identity crises are there. But if you cut down through identity, who are you? So initial identity begins as my name. So we chop it off. I say I am tall, I am 50-year-old. Again, all attributes to body, we chop it off. Then I say I am a living being. Sometimes I might say I am a human being. Human being is also an identity that you are separating from all the animals, from all the species. I am a living thing. Even that is an identity. But the most fundamental identity is that I am a living entity. And that living entity is called Jiva, Jiva Tattva. And that most fundamental nature is Sita. So sometimes she is called the Supreme Prakriti. Supreme Prakriti also means Supreme Maya, and Supreme Power. So it is all that Supreme. But then that power is vested down into lower things. So the lower things is thinking that I am a human being, I am rich, I am a man, I am a woman, I have this power. All these things are lower and lower representations. And those are represented by Surpanakha in Ramayana. Ramayana, Surpanakha means she is the lower Prakriti, lower nature, and superior nature is Sita. Superior nature is also superior power. Superior power is also superior education, superior vidya. So now we said somebody was trying to do a yajna, and when they are doing a yajna, they made a little furrow. So let's go and take a barren land, a land where no cultivation is done. If you go to that land, if you pour water, what happens? Like, I have done it in my backyard. Just it rained and all kinds of weeds came at once. So if you go to a land, barren land, and started pouring lots of water, you know what happens?
Can I?
Yeah.
If it's a desert, then the water.
Not a desert,
Okay.
just a normal land.
The water will not be absorbed that fast. It will be absorbed very slowly. But the land will be wet.
No, but the point is that if you throw water, all kinds of growth will come, all kinds of weeds will come, thorny plants will come, fungi, all kinds of fungi will come, all kinds of poisonous mushrooms will come up, all kinds of plants will come up. But if you want to really have some kind of a good crop, what do you need to do?
Tilling.
Sow a seed.
Yeah?
Plow and
How do you do it? Like if you are getting lots of weeds in your backyard, what will you do?
you could use weed remover or pluck them out with your hand.
You have to remove the weeds first. Or if you have a lawn, for example, you have beautiful lawn back there. If there are so many weeds growing, what will you do? First of all, use weeder. Any other techniques? One and most popular technique is you overseed with grass, then you overwater it. Well water it, not overwater it, water it well. So these actual grass blades or grass plants, they will choke out the weeds. So basically the way to remove all weeds and developing a proper cultivation, proper crop developing technique is you sow good seeds so that you choke out the weeds. So you seed until you choke out the weed. That is the technique. So that's why we all have to develop good habits, because our inner nature has so many bad weeds. Bad weeds are, yeah?
It's not bad weeds. I just think I made a connection. So previously, I think in a lot of classes ago, you said that a yajna is cutting off the ties with all your wants. So when you said that Janaka Maharaj, he was trying to perform a yajna and then he found Sita. So I think that when you do the yajna, you can find your inner nature, your Sita.
You got there. I am just leading to that point. So what I am telling is, if the land is not cultivated properly, it will give only weeds. But if you cultivate, reach to a level where it is really pure land, perfect land, totally fertile land in which any crop can be raised easily to have great yields. So you have to work a lot. So Janakas represent, they are nobodies, right? They don't have Videhas, that means they have choked out all the weeds already. They don't have bodily problems. Because they have cultivated and cultivated over several generations, they have reached a point where the moment they created a furrow, they discovered the very fundamental true nature. It came up. So, and Yajna is what is taught in Vedas. And Vedas create a furrow for us. Vedas say, go along this path. Direct all your creative energies into this furrow. Don't spill it all over. Put everything into this furrow. And this is the boundary. And this is the Maryada. This is the covenant between you and the God. And this is the bond between you and the God. So the ultimate real bond between us and God is Sita. The real covenant, the agreement that we have for lives and lives, for endless eternity that we have with God is Sita. Sita is Veda Maryada. Maryada means the boundary. And she says, this is the path, this is the right way. So whatever is described in Vedas, whatever is the spirit presented or hidden in Vedas is Sita, born when a perfectly cultivated land is about to be plowed. So that means only great Mahatmas, great people, when they stir up their intellect, their mind, Sita will come up. But for us, we have to do a lot of cultivation. We have to weed out. We have to create a lot of good habits. And then those good habits, like we have to properly seed. As I said, the grains, what did I say for grass? You seed. You seed. So that you choke out the weed. So until that portion is done, we will not be ready. So Sita is Veda, and she was born as Vedavati in a previous birth. Vedavati means the consolidation of Veda, the one who has all the Vedas. So that great spirit was stolen by the rogue mind, ego mind, Ravana. And whom does this covenant or this bond belong to? Verily to the Supreme God. So therefore, whenever this covenant or this bond or Maryada is always with that Maryada Purushottam, that's what we celebrate. Yeah?
In the previous class, you said that Rama was Dharma. So another clue is that if you follow your Dharma, you can find Sita. Because Rama is Dharma, and he always ends up finding Sita.
Perfect.
Can you explain the story of Vedavati?
Vedavati,
Because if you just say that Sita suddenly came out of the earth, I mean there has to be some context around it. So can you explain what that context is?
So Vedavati's context was also like this. When all the rishis, sages, they were all chanting Veda, out of that holy fire, she came out as Vedavati. And Ravana tried to abduct her even in that life. And then she said, I only belong to Narayana. And then she left that body. And then she was reborn again. But she was not really born. I said she is Ayonija, right? So basically, that fundamental true nature is nothing other than the power of the Supreme Lord. Like light is the power of sun. Like warmth is the power of fire. The only way that you can know about the Supreme Lord is by sensing that power. You have to trace where your power is. You have vested your power in all different things. We have thrown away our intellect into all garbage, politics and everything elsewhere. We have vested all our mental energy into useless emotions and feelings and all kinds of other stuff. So we have to trace our power. Our power is so faithful to us. It will go and lie wherever we tell it to go and sit. So it will not disobey your command, but it is your job to find your own power, bring it back, keep it with you, and rest in peace and sit happily. So that's what Rama does, always trying to go grab his power. This is mine. Keep it with him and be happy. And when his power is gone, he's going all around finding her. Then he gets peace. So this is what we must do. We have to find our true nature, our true power, our true education within us, and find it and keep it with us. Until then, we are not restful.
Then what happens when Rama purposefully sent Sita away because of riots in his kingdom?
That's a great question.
What does that represent?
Yeah, what that represents is that Supreme Lord is never attached to the power. Never ever attached to the power, because the Supreme Lord is like space, right? Nothing can touch or anything. So even though he said, send her away into Aranya, I gave the meaning of Aranya, right? What is Aranya? Give the meaning of Aranya? Ranya means something that can be stricken to make noise. That is Ranya. Because vibratory sound. You take a small spoon and hit on a metal plate, makes sound. That is Ranya. You take a string, veena or violin, you pull the string, it makes sound. That is Ranya. Aranya means silence. So he sent her to Aranya. That means he silenced his power. But even though she appears to be away, she has told many times, Sita said many times, that I can never be separated from Rama. Can you ever separate sunshine from sun? Never. Can you ever separate warmth from fire? Never. They appear to be in different places, but they are never. So always Sita, as the power of the Supreme, she will do what the Supreme commands. But it is the Supreme that entered into this dwelling and threw the power everywhere, and now confused and running like a chicken everywhere. That's what we are doing. That's why we are running like chicken in this whole world, like a chicken with head cut off. That's how crazily we are running. But when we find our true nature, our true power, true knowledge within us, that means we keep and stay there. That is unifying with what we truly own, what is truly ours. That is Kalyana. So that is celebrated as Kalyana. Okay? Question?
Earlier you said that sunshine cannot be separated from the sun and the fire cannot be separated from...
No, warmth cannot be separated from fire.
But what if it occurs in this scenario? Warmth is a property of the object that we are sensing, right? So what if, let's say there is a fire and there is a person sitting here who's feeling the warmth. Suddenly somebody throws cold water on the fire and extinguishes it. Even though the fire has disappeared, the effects of the warmth still remain with the person for some time. So
because the fire is hidden. Like for example, if you take a piece of wood, is there fire in it? But you take a tiny splinter and you start it, take a little lighter and you light up and you sustain a little flame. That flame will burn the whole thing. Where is this fire coming from? It is there hidden in the form of energy. So in that way it is hidden, but you also raised an important point that will create something called a new discussion about Visishtadvaita. So warmth is property of fire. So we'll come to that later. That's a great question. Okay. Now, we will take questions, but we are going to do some seeding business today. We talked about we have to seed until we choke out wheat. So how do you seed? You take Sita and Rama as one unit. That is the seed. But then seed has to be nicely protected in a shell. And the shell is Omkara, which is same as the Dhanas, the bow of Shiva. Are you understanding the symbolism here? Rama and Sita together. Like, have you ever opened a seed? Have you ever seen a seed germinating? It always gives two leaves. But originally, if you see, it has two sides, right? So imagine that real seed as Sita and Rama together. But it has a shell also. The shell is the Sivadhanas, Omkar. Okay? So, and you have Omkara here, Omkara here. Now we have made a perfect seed. And with this seed, we are going to sow our inner nature today. Okay? I will, you can turn it off. I'll tell a mantra. Okay? Krishna Pranamastu Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om.